population by state. Yeah, we in America. We about to figure this out, y'all, man. They've been telling me a lot of stuff that I don't believe. Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
The city boy's back. Anyways, we're going to get into this. This got my attention because it said black population by state, okay? I was always curious where Colorado fell in this. I live in Colorado. I remember back in the day on Instagram seeing this corny comedian from Fort Collins talk about how there's no black folks in Colorado. And I was like, yes, there is. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder how we rank on this chart. Can I put my money where my mouth is? Also, in this video, I've decided to look up what was the black population in the 1950s versus now. And then start like trying to go over like, why is that? Also, Hispanic population versus black population. I think that's going to be important. I haven't heard that conversation. Where was that at in the 1950s versus now? And how does that affect the black voting bloc who voted for illegal immigration? Typically, like when you look at statistically on paper, they vote left, which is pro-immigration. And does that help, you know, the black community? I got questions. I think these numbers, the answers are always in the numbers. If you guys are here for it, like, share, comment, subscribe. You can check out my other channels. I have a podcast and a music reaction channel, link in the description. Let's give love to the place where I got this video. Oh, whoops, hold on. This is kind of smaller than I anticipated. Data M by. Hold on. Let's move this a little bit. Data M by is the channel. Now, I've never used this channel before. They had their own music playing in the background. I decided to play my own. Shout out to Ramen Beats because this one won't get copyright claimed. So let's get into this, you guys. Let's check out black population by state in America. You see Wyoming coming in at number 50. That's our neighbor, baby. That's crazy. That's crazy. 10,000 people. I don't know how, but see, this is where they don't show you, like, wouldn't it have been nice to be like, yo, how many people live in Wyoming? Which I could look up, but I'm not about to look up every state. So let's just see where we're at with this, and let's get this show on the road. Ow. All right, so we got Wyoming at number 50, Montana at 49, Vermont at 48, Idaho at 47, yeah, we go. South Dakota 46, yeah, you know, Maine at number 45. That's kind of crazy because I didn't know Colorado survived. North Dakota 44, New Hampshire 43, at your door, Alaska 42. That's actually kind of crazy. That's crazy. Alaska has more black folks than Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, New Hampshire. New Hampshire? I never would have thought. That's actually kind of crazy. That's cool to me. I didn't think there'd be one black person in Alaska. Wow. Yeah. Hawaii. Yeah, there's not many black folks in Hawaii, but they 41. There's less in Wyoming and Montana. Again, I don't know the populations of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming. Utah is number 40. That makes sense. That's our neighbor. So we got to be getting close to Colorado because these are my neighbors. Utah and New Mexico. I always thought New Mexico, honestly, I actually thought New Mexico would have a higher percent of black folks, but it is a Hispanic town, so that's interesting. West Virginia at number 38. Wow. Nebraska at 37. When you think of the name Nebraska, you don't think black folks. I would put Nebraska down with Montana, Wyoming. However, me being a world traveler and going to Nebraska, you go to Lincoln, I've done concerts. There's black folks in Nebraska. There we go. We have 117,000 black folks in Nebraska. They're right next to Oregon, Wokey Woke, Oregon. Ain't that wild? Iowa has more black folks than Oregon, bro. Yeah, the red ass Iowa has more black folks than Wokey Woke, Oregon. Ain't that some this is actually kind of cool. Where's Colorado? Colorado got to be coming in here soon. Kansas, bro. We almost in the middle. Once we hit 25, we in the middle. Woo, Delaware. That's crazy. Uh-oh. Colorado, number 32. 300,000 black folks in Colorado. Now, I don't know if all this data is absolutely correct. Let's talk about this, you guys. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's just spit some real quick. Let's spit some real and hopefully have a mic drop moment. I'm on ChatGPT. What was the black population in the 1950s in America by percentage? All right. ChatGPT is saying in the 1950s, the black population in the United States was approximately 10% of the total population. According to the 1950 U.S. Census, the total population was about 150 million, with about 15 million black Americans. This percentage remained relatively stable throughout much of the 20th century. We got to talk about it. Why is the black population not growing in America? I think I have some answers, but we gonna see. Let me hit this vocal things. What is the black population in America current day 2025 by percentages? All right, ChatGPT's answer. As of 2025, listen up close, you guys. The black or African American population in the United States is estimated to constitute approximately 12.4% of the total population. This estimate is based off of 2020 census data, which reported that the black African American alone population accounted for 12.4% of the U.S. population, while more recent official data specific to 2025 is not available. Projections suggest that the percentage have remained relatively stable since 2020. It's important to note that the U.S. Census Bureau collection data on race and ethnicity through separate questions, allowing individuals to identify as more than one race. In 2020, of course they did. So it could be 14. Okay, hold on. African American combination with another race. So like people like me, if you're including mixed race people, the total would be 14.2% population. So think about that, you guys. Think about that very quickly. Okay, in the 1950s, there was 10%. Jump all the way to the 20th century, 2025. Think about that. Think about that. When we hit 2050, in 2050, their estimate is that the black population will be 13.4. Why do you think the black population is growing so slow in America? Let's make a comparison point real quick. I think I know. I'm about to tell y'all why. I think I know. We're going to see it. I'm either going to take a L or a W right now. I think it has to do with a bunch of different things, but one of them, I think it has to do with the A word that rhymes with proportion. We'll see. We will see. Let's go over this real quick. In the night. Hold on, what is this? Okay, this is the 1950s black population. Okay, hold on. Let me put my audio on. What is the Latino or Hispanic population in America by percentage in the 1950s? All right, ChatGPT. In the 1950s, the Latino or Hispanic population in the United States was not officially counted as a separate racial or ethnic category in the U.S. Census. However, estimates suggest that Hispanics made up 2.1% or 2.7% of the total U.S. population in the 1950s. Wow, that is crazy. I did not know that. The 1950 census did not include a specific Hispanic category, but instead relied on birthplace Spanish surname lists in select states, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there could be some justifiable misrepresentation in the data. So we can say around 2%. Maybe we give it a little bit of cushion and say it could have been 5% max, right? All right, cool. Put on this vocal thing. What is the current population of Latino/Hispanics in America by percentage? Okay, here we go. This is all on ChatGPT, you guys, which means it's collecting all the data from Google and all the internet and giving you it in real time. As of 2025, the Hispanic or Latino population in the United States is estimated to be approximately 19%. Let's round up a percentage pointage. 19% of the total population. This reflects a steady increase from previous years. For instances, in 2021, Latinos accounted for about 19% of the U.S. population. Projections indicate that the Hispanic population will continue to grow in the coming decades. By 2060, it is expected to reached nearly 98 million, compromising a significant portion of the U.S. population. This demographic shift underscores the increasing influence of the Hispanic community in various aspects of America. This is wild, you guys, because it is interesting, and not trying to make, I don't know how to position this, but why did the Hispanic population jump so much compared to black folks, right? And let's just think about this in voting blocks, right? If you're a black person and your vote, you want it to matter, you want it to count, and you want it to be strong, think about how weak it is with those numbers. Like, who are the politicians gonna, really try to lean into, right? Your voting block, you started out at 10%, you're 13%. From 1950 to 2025, you went from 10% to 13%. Hispanics went from 2% to 19% in the same time period. Bruh. Anyways, let's check this out. Local. All right, so I think there's a lot to do with culture here. Obvious, the border is a reason, right? The immigration, whether it be legal or illegal immigration, this is why the Hispanic population is so high in America. I don't think it's a bad thing to have a high Hispanic population. I'm just seeing it for what it's worth. And I also think it's interesting because, black folks will vote a certain way, and they're actually voting against themselves a lot of time. When you vote left, right, and they just flood the borders, think about that for a second. Let's just think about current day. They let millions and millions of illegal immigrants, meaning non-documented citizens, illegally, and then they house them in, what are they called? Like elegant hotels, like high-end hotels in New York, in Chicago, in Colorado, and the taxpayer, us, funded that, right? This also leads to the power of their voting bloc. Now, I don't want to put two ethnicities or races against each other, but if we're just talking about strategics and you wanting politicians to listen to your voice as a voting bloc, you're voting against yourself by letting people who are not supposed to be here, in the sense of they didn't come in legally, right? And they're seeking economic asylum. They're not refugees in a war-torn country. They're seeking economic asylum. So there's a lot there, but the big thing is the A word that rhymes with proportion, you guys. I've always said this. The A word, now this is when I looked it up in the past, has always affected the black community the most. And no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about eugenics. No one wants to talk about Margaret Sanger, and the origins of Planned Parenthood. No one wants to talk about that. But that's what I think. So let's just find out if I have any, if my if my homeboy anecdotal nonsense has any equivocation here. Then we'll get back to the chart. Vocal thing on. What community in America has the most abortions by percentage? Black community, Hispanic community, Asian community, Arabic community, or white community? ? All right, ChatGPT. In the United States, the black community has the highest A word that rhymes with proportion, because YouTube's weird and I like to dodge certain trigger things in the algorithm so more people can see the content. But you know what the A word is now, okay? In the United States, the black community has the highest A word rate by percentage compared to other racial and ethnic groups, according to the data from the CDC A word surveillance report, which tracks the A word statistics. Black women accounted for approximately 38 to 40% of all A words, despite making up 12 to 13% of the U.S. female population. Coming in at second is white women with 35%. Coming in third is Hispanic women at 20%. And then 7 to 10% is all other ethnic groups together. Asians, Arabic, different level. With Asia, we got Filipinos, Thai people, we got Chinese, Japanese, you know what I mean? All of that, all of those groups together in America equate for 7 to 10%. Think about what has just been said. Think about the way, and I'm speaking as a black man, right? I can be black when convenient. So I'm black when convenient. Let's go. I'm messing around, but you know, that's how I was treated growing up with all my black friends. You're never black enough. You're always trying to prove yourself, right? And then with your white friends, you black, right? They're like, oh yeah, what's up, homie? Like, you know what I mean? It's just funny how that works. But anyway, let's think about this for a second, right? So you see the extreme difference in growth and population from the black community versus the Latin community. You know, we didn't even get into the white community. Like, there's just so many numbers here, but I just wanted to see this because I felt like it was more relevant in this current situation where we have all these undocumented people, what most would call illegal migrants, for the wokesters. You know, what do they call them? I don't know what they call them, but you get what I'm getting at, right? You know, there's black folks, a ton of black folks paying taxes to basically, you know, hurt their vote. Like, it's just true. It just waters down and dilutes their vote, man. That's just what it is. This community keeps getting smaller and smaller, and you could see the elevation of other communities over the black community. And I'm not here as like a wokester, like, oh, the black people. I'm just like, it's so dumb. It is so crazy. The group they vote for had a word that rhymes with proportion, trucks, like food trucks at the DNC in front, like promoting the A word and be like, yo, come get your A words here. Everyone's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Let me read this again. In the United States, the black community has the highest A-word rate by percentage. Black women account for approximately 38 to 40% of the A-word. That's your side. Yeah, DNC. After the procedure, they get a DNC. Isn't that ironic? Crazy, right? Yeah, so that's a mic drop moment. I mean, this is all anecdotal, but just think about what we have here. We have a community in the Latin community that typically, it does seem like Latin folks have a lot of children, right? They're third down the line for having the A word. They're also on the border and they come over in more numbers. So it's, you know, let's not, of course there's going to be more Latin folks because of they're right next to America. And, you know, we've had migrants coming in. And this is the thing. We have all types of migrants. We have migrants from Poland, Asia, But it would seem that the majority would be, and I don't have numbers for this. Actually, let's just find out. Let's just get some stats. Do the majority of migrants that come into America come from South America? I worded that horribly, but whatever. Yes, the majority of migrants coming into the U.S. in recent years have been Latin America, particularly Central America and South America, according to data from the Department of Homeland Security. So there you have it. So I'm not saying like, oh, you know, the Latinos are outpacing black folks because they're having more children, which they might. We could look that up too, but let's just keep it real. The A word is affecting the black community the most, right? And then with the borders being what they are, I just think it's interesting. You know, I don't know how to position this without being like a race baiter, right? Like, I'm just saying those numbers are right here in front of us. And is that not a little intriguing? Like, if you have a strategy, right? Like, politicians are strategical. And if you are a voter and you want your voice to be heard, then you want to vote in a direction that's going to give you more power. But in the black community, they don't do that. They just keep rocking with the Democratic Party, which is super pro A word, which affects them the most, and then super pro open borders, which eventually is going to affect them the most through voting, through a lot of different things. People argue, oh, it doesn't take their jobs. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's a variable, could be debated. But what I will say is you're voting against yourself. Wouldn't you even want to just vote a different way just to get some momentum, to get this side to appreciate you more at some point? I don't know, man. Let's look at some more of these figures and ride off into the sunset. This is a long conversation. I hope, this is what's sad. I'll do a video like this and only 500 people will watch it. And that's what's really frustrating, because I enjoy talking about stuff like this, learning in real time, seeing what you guys think in the comments, people getting mad at me, people being happy, people being middle ground. A, I see the point there, but this is what you missed, P. And we all get to build together. These are like my favorite type, and they get 500 views. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Because it's like, oh, let me just react to comedy and blah, blah, blah. But I want to do more stuff like this. These things, like I had another video like this last week. I wake up in the morning, I do my normal routine, and typically when I go sit on the John, I start having these ideas. And then like I'll be scrolling, I saw this video, then I asked a Chat GPT one question. I was like, oh, we're recording. We're going to do this live, man. This is fire. This is a fire concept. Anyways, let's keep it rolling. Play the music. Play the music. So Colorado was coming in at 32. District of Columbia, D.C., 31. Nevada, 30. We know California and New York's going to be in the highest rankings, I believe. But we will find out. Oklahoma, 29. Arizona, 28. We're getting close to that. Kentucky, 27. You know the South. Maybe Georgia might take it, huh? Washington, 26. Wisconsin, 25. Minnesota, 24. Told you, they got some diversities in Minnesota. Connecticut, 23. Not bad for Connecticut, man. You above half. Arkansas, 22. Let's go. We got a big jump, it looks like. Where we going? Massachusetts, 21. Indiana, 20. Who's 19? Missouri, 19. Mississippi, number 18. Yep, we in the South now. Tennessee, 17. New Jersey, number 16. Alabama, 15. Let's go. Yeah. South Carolina, number 14. Michigan, 13. Louisiana, 12. Makes sense. These numbers make sense. Pennsylvania, 11. Ohio, yeah, Cleveland, Ohio, all that, yeah. Number 10, makes sense. Virginia, number 9. Maryland, number 8. Illinois, 7. Here we go, you guys. Top 5 is coming. We got 6 next. Bombay, North Carolina, number 6. California, number 5. New York, number 4. Oh, snap. I'm curious on what's the top 3. Let's go. Y'all probably know, but I don't, so let's see. Georgia, number 3. Okay, I mentioned Georgia might be up there. Florida. How did I forget about Florida? Number 2, baby. Okay, who's number 1? Texas. I should have known. Damn, I totally forgot about Texas. I'm tripping. That's interesting. That's interesting too, because it's right on the border, and we're talking about these different things in this video. Now, again, I feel like I'm black and Mexican, you guys. So, you know, it is what it is. I just think it's interesting because I see a lot of conversations. A lot of these conversations where I have the ideas to make these type of videos formulate from Facebook. Because ever since the election, there's just massive amount of people crying on Facebook. So I like to address it, but I just don't address it on Facebook because no one listens in the comments. So I'm like, I'll have a better impact making a video, and then maybe one person will see it and might be like, yo, this is interesting. You know, this is different. But anyway, black population by state, what does it tell you? This would have been better if it said the population by state, but then it said what the total population is, the state, right? For example, what's the current total population in Texas? So we know if you round up 4 million black folks in Texas, there's 31.3 million people in Texas, right? So you can kind of see the numbers as they play or whatever. But anyways, you guys let me know. We take a W on this video. Is this a huge L for your boy? Just think it's unique looking at population through the lens of politics, the A word, and the reality of America. I think it's unique and very interesting that since the 1950s to the year 2025, let's just jump. Let's just keep the numbers. Is that even numbers or odd numbers? Let's go 1950 to the year 2050. 10% black population in America in 1950s, and the projection is there will be 13 or 14% black population in America in 2050. Do what you will with that info.
City boy, city boy.